Alright, so for the next section, what I want to do is style my menu differently. So right now what we have with the default tutorial is that we have a green text on mouse over, and we also have a green text on the current menu item, as opposed to the original one that has the green when we mouse over, but we have black and underscore, or not underscore but a line. In fact, it will be a border below the current menu item. So this is the first thing that we'll do. So I'm going to use Microteamer directly to do that. Okay, if I double click on my home element, you will see that we always have an active, which is the one that we currently click on, but we also have a class of, current menu item on the current one, the current page. So I don't need all of those elements after though, so I'm gonna scroll to have one that is less things like this one, all the links on the current page here. So that would be fine. So I'm gonna give it a name, and the name that you put there, by the way, if I never stated it, it's only gonna be a comment in the final CSS file so that you can see where your things are. So let's call that the active page link. Active page link. And I'm gonna put that in the main menu folder. And click create selector. So we can see that by default we have the green text, and just want to change that. So I'm going to copy that, by the way, because I'm going to need it later. But for now I'm going to replace that with the number sign and 333333, which is the dark gray, the same one as the other link item here. By the way, I didn't mention it, but in the tutorial we always use the Google font called Lato. Of course, the original doesn't use that font. The original one used the Railway font. So I'm not going to change that on each and every element. But if you want to have the exact same look, the W with that style, for example, just use the Railway font, and it's going to be the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to put my bar underneath it. If we do something like underline, for example, you'll see that the line is pretty close to the text, so it's really far from what we want. So in fact, we're going to use a border. A border just on the bottom. We don't need a border all around it. So I'm going to go in this section border. And you'll see that by default we have a black one, but it's not visible. Okay, so if we put the bottom one, for example, to be solid, then it might appear. Here we go. So I'm going to change that to the color that we already had, that I copied. And the width, which is by default 3 pixels here, maybe not enough. Probably something more like 5 pixels or something like that. So let's put that. By default, Microteamer, by the way, the way that it's configured, if we don't specify the unit of measure, it's going to be pixel. So you can put px if you want to, but if you don't put it, don't be afraid. Microteamer does put it for you. So example here, you see that we do have the 5 pixel. Okay, so you don't have to write it down. And every time that we change something, it is saved automatically, so you don't need to save it manually either. As you can see now, the bar is way bigger than what we have in the final example here. And the reason for that is that in this menu we have a padding on each side. If we go here, for example, you will see that we have a 15 pixel of padding on each and every side, but especially on left and right. So this is what is causing a problem here. So what I'm going to first do, I'm going to remove those two borders here, so those two paddings, sorry, on the right and on the left. And by doing so, as you can see now, the bar changes. Of course, the space also changes, and it will be specially visible when we have one of those other links that are active. So In order to replace that 15 pixel of padding, I'm going to put 15 pixel of margin, which is outside of the box. So it will keep our distance that we already had, but now it's not inside, so the line only takes the space of the home menu. So if I go here and refresh, here we go. And if we use another one, you will see that the line always take the size of the currently selected element. Okay, well, contact us is a little bit special since it's the same page, but you see it for the blog as well. So this is it for the currently selected menu item.